whether you're trans, pan, a guy named Dolly or identify as Polly, I reckon Britain is a fairly inclusive place to be these days. However, parents at one of the country's top single-sex schools have accused one head teacher of going a step too far by refusing to use the term girls when discussing their actual children, who are girls, despite the term being included in the name of the institution she actually runs. So Liz Laybourne, the head of, get this, Burgess Hill Girls in West Sussex, says there are, quote, too many gender options, and that's why she's also dropping the term daughters. I mean, for goodness sake. Anyway, Attorney General Suella Braverman recently blasted some schools for essentially promoting gender dysmorphia with their, quote, unquestioning attitude towards identification. Getting stuck into this with me right now is Helen Joyce, author of Trans, When Ideology Meets Reality, a Sunday Times bestseller on the transgender rights movement, and a good pal of fellow author and women's rights campaigner as well, J.K. Rowling. Helen, thank you so much. Well, look, should teachers like Miss Laybourne try sticking to the basics, do you think?
I think it's ridiculous, honestly. I mean, girl and daughter and woman and words like that, they're just ordinary words for half of the human race, the half that's got the female sex, not the male sex, and it's in the title of the school because that's who they admit and who they teach.
Do you think she actually means this? Because this is the thing. This is the big thing. I'm not... And this is almost even worse than them doing it, is that I'm not sure a lot of these people actually mean it, OK? I think they just feel as though they have to say it, you know?
Oh, it's just giving in to the kids, I think. I think it's to save rows, and these things are never a good idea because you give an inch and it just keeps going. So what's next? I mean, do they have to try and remember everybody's neo-pronouns? Are they going to be calling people, like, by emoji gender or cat gender or, you know, fey fair instead of she, her? You know, like, once you start, where do you stop?
Well, no, exactly. And, I mean, I do find it fascinating, really, because some people are saying that this actually is encouraging gender dysmorphia because we're giving in too easily.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is that if children are left to lead, children are looking for boundaries from adults. They're looking for information from adults too. So if adults act in such a way as to suggest to children that what you are is what you identify as, then children will think that's correct. And that's how they will respond. Whereas if you're just calm and factual and polite, you're not trying to put anyone off, you're not trying to tell children that because they're girls, they've got to like pink and ballet or whatever. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. You're setting boundaries for them, and then they can just be whoever they are, but female, because honestly, we can't change that.
No, but is there the issue now, of course, it's all very well and good saying, hey, if you want to personally identify as whatever, a palm tree or something, then, you know, in the comfort of your own home, with the privacy of your own home, or in your own head, frankly, you can do that. But in this school, in this institution, you are a girl. But that now, now, people go, you're a transphobe. And people are very scared of that word.
They are. It's a bogey word, isn't it? But I think it's losing its power. It's just used so much, like everything is transphobic. So, yeah, and when you say whether you're male or female, you're making claims on other people. Because we treat male and female people differently in some circumstances, like in which changing room or toilet you get to use, which sports you get to play in. So it's not something that's just a private fact about yourself. If it is, if it's like a religion or something, you know, feel free, do it yourself.
I've always wanted to ask someone in your position this, right, because I can't answer it right myself. Now, a lot of the time it's going from the direction of men who want to transition into womanhood, and they're not also just transition, but also win gold medals in your 100-metre race as well. But I don't think there's as many women wanting to go into manhood. Why is that? Why is that? Why is it?
It's about age. It's about teenage girls. The biggest group is teenage girls actually wanting to be boys. That's the big social
group. Is it? Right.
Yeah. So among
I should feel threatened then. Hang on a minute, it should be me saying that they're taking my identity, aren't they?
Well, you could say that, couldn't you? But it's not doing you any harm, is it?
No,
because they're not going to compete in your sports or make you frightened in your changing rooms. You know, it's women who need to be kept safe from men. I'm sorry to say, I wish it wasn't true. I wish we were as strong as you. I wish it wasn't men who were the raping and we who get raped, frankly. Not that I'm accusing any particular man, but that's why we have these spaces. So, yeah, one way is a big problem, and it's a big problem for women, but actually it's mostly the other way that it's happening now among teenage girls.
Yeah, and I think you've hit the nail on the head there, isn't it, really, which is the fact that actually it's about the level of threat and the way that can manifest itself inside. I mean, there's huge moral questions about it as well, of course, as you've hit the nail on the head on there, but part of it is that thing of, well, if with the best will in the world, Sarah, transitions at the age of 14 and wanders into a male changing room, I'm not quite sure how much damage Sarah will be able to do in that particular instance. But if Sam did, right, and he goes into the female changing rooms, well, let's be honest, it could get very, very bad indeed. But Helen, look, thank you so much. We'll have to talk again because there's so much to get stuck into, and I'd love to do some kind of longer form with you going forward. We can actually get really properly stuck into it. But yeah, Helen Joyce, author of Trans: When Ideology Meets Reality, which is, of course, a Sunday Times bestseller. Thank you very, very much.